Hello, Dungeon Masters. This week, I wanted to make the next level in our corrupted monastery. After last week's ambush and big fight, I decided this floor should be a huge room with a puzzle to solve, and if not, a fight. This map took around 35 minutes to make in real time. Now, the most time-consuming part of this map was making the chessboard style floor. I liked the look of it at the end, but it did require a lot of clicking. I've sped up the process for you to the max, so you don't have to die of boredom. You are welcome. I went with the same two blue colours used in the monastery video from last week to keep that glorious consistency. I wanted the cult to have corrupted this floor since they arrived. They have added their own devious traps hidden in plain sight. Dungeon Alchemist's tip of the day. So, in an effort to increase the number of hints and tips I add to my Dungeon Alchemist videos, I've added one to the beginning of this video. You can't normally place objects on the deep pit squares. The floor tile that's called Deep Pit. Well, now you can. You just need to start with the standard pit floor tile. Place the object and make it big enough to be visible at the depth of the Deep Pit floor tile. Then convert the floor into a deep pit from a standard pit. You can also turn off collision and move the object off its default axis and then place it anywhere on your map. You will see me use both methods later in this video. The chess pieces in my game will become animated and able to move if a player enters a square that it can guard in the game. I will make sure to show you an example of the threatened squares near the end of this video, but if you have played chess, you will likely already know. You can feel free to insert a different mechanic if you have a better idea. If my party were high level, I would absolutely have a cultist trigger the trap whilst fleeing the players by accident. For a low level party, I would have the hand statues in this map be the power source for the animated enemies, meaning if the players come up with a way to remove the stored power or break the fingers holding the orbs, then the area it controls will cease to function. If I had a higher level party, then I would likely get the orbs involved in the fight as a kind of ray weapon that needs to be disabled or destroyed to cease its attacks on any living thing nearby. If required, a magical alarm could sound when the trap is triggered. That would summon several cultists. They would appear on the side sections of the map and then run to arm themselves on one of the mounted crossbows on the left, or a mortar if they enter on the right. Right, we shouldn't need too much description for our players since we are descending from the above floor which we described. But just in case you need some ideas or your session ended with the players descending the stairs, here is a description for you. Beneath the solemn sanctuary of the monastery above, a cool stairway descends into the depths, leading to a chamber that contrasts sharply with the reverence above. This is the top of a great mausoleum, a vast subterranean expanse that harbours secrets far removed from the divine piety preached to the congregation. The air here is cooler and tinged with an undercurrent of ash and death. A quiet voice is audible from below that whispers of deeper mysteries and rituals enacted in the shadows. You know, like those spooky whispers you hear in all horror films. That type of thing. Either side of the mausoleum are large, deep pits, their purpose obscure and their depths swallowed by darkness. They resonate with a palpable sense of danger, as if they are not merely physical features but portals or wellsprings of some darker energy. Dominating the view of this underground space are statues, not of saints or divine figures, but of huge arms clasping glowing orange orbs. These surreal sculptures cast an eerie light across the chamber, their glow pulsating gently like the heartbeat of some otherworldly presence. The orbs illuminate the mausoleum with an ominous amber hue, casting long shadows and giving the statue an almost lifelike quality, as if they were guardians overseeing a sacred and forbidden rite. The floor of the mausoleum is an intricate mosaic, designed like a chessboard, but instead of black and white, there are the same shades of blue as above in the monastery. The tiles alternate in a stark, hypnotic pattern that stretches across the entire chamber. Scattered across this grandiose chessboard are pieces, some towering almost as tall as a man, others more modest in size. Each piece is meticulously carved with runes and symbols, representing both the familiar figures of the game and more esoteric symbols that hint at a deeper, perhaps mystical significance. This setup suggests not just a game of strategy and intellect, but a representation of a larger cosmic or spiritual battle, with stakes far beyond the comprehension of mere mortals. The existence of the mausoleum, with its arcane symbols and unsettling atmosphere, hints at the church's dual nature. Above, the clergy preaches salvation and piety, whilst beneath, a different sort of congregation gathers, one that is possibly entwined with the cultic practices aimed at harnessing esoteric powers or serving ancient forgotten gods. The secret faith engages in rituals that seek to influence the fate of both the living and the dead. As one's gaze drifts further into the shadowy expanse of the Great Mausoleum, details of its defences begin to emerge from the dim light, revealing a chilling preparedness for conflict. Along the western side of the deep pits, a series of mortars are strategically positioned. These ancient artillery pieces, their barrels cold and ominous, stand ready to unleash devastation. They flank the pit with a silent threat, their presence a stark testament to the lengths at which the cult are prepared to go to protect their sanctum of secrets. The mortars, though relics, have been meticulously maintained, hinting at a readiness to defend any intrusion with lethal force. Opposite these daunting engines of war, on the eastern side of the pits, crossbows are mounted with precision. These ranged weapons, each one a masterpiece of deadly craftsmanship, are aimed towards the only accessible path leading deeper into the mausoleum. The crossbows, loaded and waiting with bolts that glisten in the flickering torchlight, serve as a grim warning to the unwary. The strategic placement of mortars and crossbows overlooking the dark chasms that flank the mausoleum's interior show the cult expected someone to eventually try to infiltrate their lair. You take a moment to consider the alternative. Maybe all these defenses are to stop something escaping from the depths below. A chill runs down your spine as you begin to move through the room. Okay, so there's some description for you that the players will enjoy and certainly worry about. What type of monster would you have waiting in the deep below? I hope you've enjoyed the video. As always, please help us make more videos for you. It's free and easy. Hit that like button and sub if you want more. Leave a comment below to tell me what you would like to see next. And as always, may the dice ever be in your favour. Hinting at the readiness to defend any intrusion with lethal force. Lethal force?